Alright, in this video I'm going to show you guys how to trim the fat cap on your cut of meat. So when cooking large cuts of meat for low and slow smoke and barbecue, as a general rule of thumb, you want to keep about 1/4 of an inch as a fat cap across the top of base of the meat. So we're going to cook this thing fat side up. That way, whatever fat you've got left on the meat renders down, and the collagen breaks down and renders through to the meat and creates a nice marbling, which when you slice the meat up, as a result, creates a real tender, moist, juicy cut of meat. Now, there are a few variables, and a couple of them include how fatty do you like your meat, how lean do you like your meat, how big is the meat, how thick is it. But as a general rule of thumb, 1/4 of an inch of fat across the meat should do the trick. Now, for very large cuts of meat that are quite long and tall or quite thick and big cuts like brisket, maybe you want a bit more marbling, so you want to leave a bit more fat cap. If you also find that the big cut of meat looks like it has some pretty well done marbling throughout the meat already prior to trimming the fat, well, you may want to trim that fat cap a bit lower than 1/4 inch because you don't want to overdo it. But the main idea to keep in mind here is the goal of trimming the fat is to, 1, not leave so much fat that it's unrenderable and produces a chewy, fatty, unedible cut of meat, but also trimming it down not so much that it's dried out and that it doesn't cut well because there's no fat marbling through it. You need that fat collagen cap to render down and create a moist result, but it's a fine balance. So a lot of it really does come down to trial and error, your personal preference, and the type of cut of meat. But play around, see how you go, try different levels of cuts of fat, and mess around, and yeah, best of luck. Happy trimming, Pitmasters.